Howdy folks, it's One of a Nine here from One of a Nine TV and World of Tanks Tips and Tricks.com. Today I'm bringing you a video on map tactics for Erlenberg. This is one of the more interesting maps, I have to say, in the World of Tanks rotation, so let's give it a go. So first things first, let's label the areas of the map. You got the castle right here. This is one of the big areas of the map that you will fight over. You got the city, and you got the hill. Those are the three big areas of the maps. So let's see. Let's go down by the tank class and see where you'd go. You got your super heavies, your casemate TDs. You guys want to be fighting through the city right here. If you're a fast TD, there is not fast TD, fast heavy tank. There is a hold down position right here that can kind of shut down this entire crossing, provided you have backup, so that if the enemy team pushes this way, they can't push over and overwhelm you from behind. Same thing works from the other side right here. You can take these hold down spots here and you can kind of shut down this area if you're from here. And you can also shoot these tanks here as well as into the back line over here. The most important thing from spawning in the south though is to get across the bridge into this area here. Make the fight happen more here. And don't let them use this position to their advantage. If they have a tank there, just take 2 or 3 of your heavy tanks or TDs and push across and push him out. You need to win that spot. If you let this tank exist here, he will destroy anybody here. And it's just the way it's going to be. It's not much else you can do. Or you can push this way to get around the side of him. But from the north, if you have somebody in this position here, you want to cover him by pushing a couple tanks further down. So now, your snipey TDs, where do you want to go? You want to go here. This is where your snipers sit. Right here, 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 or here. These provide you good avenues of fire, but again, as always with sniping TDs, you need to make sure that you are ready to move up if the battle advances away from you. So if you're sitting here and your team wins this position, move up, take the hill, shoot into the city, or keep going and start shooting to anything that's down here. That is what you got to do as a TD. So now your medium tanks. So you can either take this spot if you spawn in the north, that is. You can take this spot, or you can go here if you don't have a light tank. Or even if you do have a light tank, you can still use that spot, but make sure you're not getting in the way of your light tank spotting for your TDs in the back. If you spawn in the south, you want to go either here, or you can push to here, try get there, but be careful you don't track yourself as you drop off the cliff and drown in the water, because you can drown in this area right. I like fighting here, or you can even go and fight here and go and kill enemy tanks that are sitting here. You can also go this way as a medium tank spawning in the south, or up into the trees here. If you got like a Leopard 1 that's a really good sniping tank, you can always sit in the back a little bit more with the TDs, but I do recommend that if you're a Leopard, you be a little bit more aggressive. Alright, so now your light tanks. The most important area for a light tank is this area right here. If you spawn in the north, there's a couple bushes up here you want to be sitting in so you can spot anything that is here. Or if you spawn in the south, you want to be up here as well so you're spotting anything that is right here. The biggest mistake I see light tank players make is they go over here, for example, and it's useful, but it's not as useful as being right here. If you have 2 light tanks, you want to send one here and then one into here. For example, north can get to here and spot anything crossing here at the start. Or if you're spawning from the south, you want to get yourself up into this bush here, for example. You can spot anything here. Or you want to get a little bit further forward and try and contest the island or get up to here to get spots across. So your SPGs, it's pretty simple. You sit in the back here or here. You can go here if you spawn in the north or here, but it's a little bit more exposed. It kind of depends on where your team is, but you don't want to expose yourself unnecessarily. Let's see, what other class am I missing? Your fast heavies. You want to be the ones to be making the aggressive plays in the city. Other than that, it's relatively straightforward. There's a few things like here you can shoot across into the city, so keep an eye on that. If you're pushing, make sure that you are not in this doorway for very long, because these guys will shred you. Typically, there's at least 1 or 2 tanks there. They will shred anybody who's here from the opposing team. Or if you're pushing down from the north and the enemy team is pushed up, make sure that you are careful and aware of this angle of fire right here. If you're up here, make sure you're aware if there's any tanks down here. And other than that, there's not really much else to say. It's kind of, again, like other maps, for example, Cliff, it's kind of a self-sustaining fight. Everybody's in their own fight. And then you got to react to, for example, if this team wins here in the city and they start pushing out, you got to turn around and start getting into position to shoot them. That's just the things you got to do. If you win here, so if you win in the spawning from the south, you win castle. You want to get down into the low ground and push this way, spot out all these bushes, and then slowly work your way along until you can start spotting these guys here. If you win here, it's a little bit more of just a mad dash across for a light tank, and hope they make it to here so they can get spots on things here. And if you win city, just be careful with the way you push out. Don't just drive. Make sure that you're paying attention to what's going on the map around you before you push out. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thanks, and goodbye.